okay, well, normally if I'm on a plane, I'm either going to watch something funny like a South Park. There was something on the thing I was going through on the menu and I see Bewitched. I said, you know what? It would be really cool to transport back to what I felt like then. So I start watching Bewitched and I realized, oh my gosh, the people I grew up watching, anytime they encountered a problem, they were able to make it disappear. Elizabeth Montgomery on Bewitched would go, and wiggle her nose. Poof, they'd turn into a frog. They would be disappeared. They'd be transported to another state. She could just get rid of her problems anytime she had them. I Dream a Genie, she would do the head nod. Poof, everybody would disappear. And I'm like, oh, no wonder I have no coping skills. Because I believed I could just make people disappear. Now, not officially, but these were my role models growing up. Okay, well, let's dive deeper. Hello, everybody. Welcome to Better Together. When you know better, you get better. That is our goal here every single day, friends. Our quote of the day: the impact of television on our culture is indescribable. There is a certain sense in which it's nearly as important as the invention of printing. Well, that's a weird... As the invention of printing? I don't know, since sliced bread?
Printing's pretty important.
Printing is important. That's from Carl Sandburg, an American poet, biographer, journalist, and editor.
I feel like I need to give him some credentials because it's like, okay, what random guy said this?
I mean, listen, yes, the first sentence had me grabbed me because we're going to be talking about that today. The impact of television on our childhoods and who we became as adults, as I had a massive aha moment recently, and I'm going to tell you all about it. But I love the quote where it says, the impact of television on our culture is indescribable. Then it gets wonky for me. There's a certain sense in which it's nearly as important as the invention of printing.
Hey now.
Poosh, do you have any thoughts on this quote?
I mean, he just must love TV, like a lot. If
and
it's as
printing.
Important as printing.
It's very strange.
See, Pooja thinks printing's important.
I mean, it is. I use my printer all the time still. Hill Squad, welcome back. Thanks for being here today. We're talking about the impact of TV on us growing up, and we're going to be answering some of your questions. Before we get into that, friends, I have some new spring picks up at Macy's.com/Better Together. As you know, they are a supporter of the show, and we are so grateful. Actually, well, I don't know if I'm supposed to announce anything, so I won't. But we have some really cool things planned, potentially an event coming up. So we'll discuss that once I know more details. But we are very excited. Of course, I'm sanitizing my phone right now, as I do every day when I come into the studio. So when you hear a beep, just know my phone's been fully sanitized. And this lovely little device is available on my list as well. So you will have to check it out. Queen, have you coveted any of the things I have on there? Is there any new thing that you're obsessed with?
You know, I'm still just obsessed with my coffee maker that I added. I honestly haven't. It's really hard for me right now, Maria, because I'm trying to downsize and downgrade as I look for a new apartment. Mm-hmm. So I am getting rid of bags of things.
Yes.
So I've kind of put myself in the no spending zone.
Got it.
But when I do get to this new place, I'm getting this weighted blanket that's on sale for $80 because I need a new one because my old one isn't serving me anymore.
How about that cute yellow rug I put on here?
Well, let's look. Let's pull her up.
You can put that in your apartment.
Oh,
I think that's gonna. So this is the exciting part about you getting a new place is decorating.
Honestly. Oh, you know what I did get though?
What?
And this was actually so nice because Priscilla, for my birthday, bought me the Madden Girl platform pumps because I said I really wanted them.
Which ones? These,
the pink ones.
No way.
Yeah.
Oh, how cute.
Yeah. So she was so funny. There you guys go. You can see them.
Did she use our link?
Yeah, I did.
Okay, Queen.
I did. So
Thank
she
you.
Venmoed me because she was like, I don't remember which ones you said you wanted.
Oh my God, stop.
So I got these bad boys, you guys. So I'll let you know.
So cute.
How much are those?
$80.
Yeah, those are really, really
Hot
cute.
pink.
Guys, platforms are huge this spring. I already have pulled out some of my vintage ones and I have some new ones. And so, yes, they are really, really hot and very comfortable. So I did put those on there.
So cute.
And I'm glad you got to see them. But yeah, I think that's going to be the fun part is getting you all set up with a new place.
I know.
But that's why I found that yellow rug and I found it so inspiring. Have you not found it yet?
No, I haven't scrolled past it yet.
Hold on. Let's see.
Yellow
Ooh,
rug.
some candles. Mhm.
Maybe it's on page 2.
Page 2.
Well, there you
Ooh.
go.
We're
Maybe
out.
somebody else is making that mistake at home too. Oh, I have to get those pajamas.
This one.
I have to bite the
Oh,
bullet. and
cute,
do the-
Maria.
Right?
Yeah, it's on sale for $24.
Oh my God.
How many inches is it? What's the
2 by 3.
2 by 3
Yeah,
feet?
area rug.
Okay, that's
Pretty small,
That's kind of small, yeah.
but still cute. Cute for the bathroom. It's like a cute little.
Yeah.
Front door, maybe.
I really, really love that. But they have them in different sizes too. So
Cute.
I
Okay,
just
and
like bright color.
PJs. You wanted PJs?
I have to order those and it looks like they're on sale. Those ones right there.
Oh yeah.
What are they? The half
Charlie
shirt.
Holiday.
How much are they?
There by Lounge Pants on sale for $47.40.
Hell yeah. I'm making that purchase today. I cleaned out all of my pajamas, guys. And I'm very proud of myself.
Proud of you too.
And Kevin was like going over what sexy pajamas are. And because I dress like a lumberjack when it's time to go to bed, usually in something like this. And actually, yeah.
With the red lip and all.
Well, the red lip. Well, so this is a Blondie sweatshirt
It's cute.
and she's got a red lip in it. And so I decided to
I love that.
be like Blondie.
Cute.
But yeah, I am going to order those because Kevin's like, I don't know, like a half shirt or whatever. I'm like, Kevin, but my stomach's going to be cold. He goes, that's the price of having to be sexy at night. I'm like,
Oh my God. Thank God I don't have to do that.
I am going to design some really sexy yet warm pajamas.
Cute.
I just got to figure out what it is.
I'm into that.
You should do it.
So anyhow, yeah, a lot of these things are on sale, which is great. I'm going to get those yellow Crocs too. I feel like those are going to be
Those
really
are
comfy and cute.
super cute.
There's a lot of fun colors too.
Yeah,
There's
they come
purple.
in ooh and blue.
Lilac is a big color this spring too.
Yeah, a lot of the
Seems like it.
pastels.
Kevin really wants a pair of Crocs. I wonder, should I be adding some other things in here for the guy in your life? I guess
Maybe.
Father's Day's coming up. Maybe we should be adding some of those.
Ooh.
We do have, oh, my phone is sanitized.
Yay!
Stand by,
Phone is
everybody.
done.
I'm going to lick it. No, I'm just kidding.
Oh my God.
But now it's not as dirty as a 7-Eleven toilet.
We
Isn't
love
that the
that.
statistic? I'm kidding. Okay, so Macy's.com/better together. If there's anything that you need to purchase there, if you use our link, we get credit for it. So obviously we would love your support on that. Thank you. Thank you. So friends, in my travels recently, I was doing filling in for Kelly Ripa on Live with Kelly and Ryan. And that was a lot of fun. Was that last week?
Last week,
Wow,
yeah,
that
you
was
crushed
last week. And I don't know, was it on the plane that I had that realization
It
about?
must have been.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Because then when I got to the hotel, I think I voice texted you and I was like, oh my God, we got to talk about this.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. So here we go. So friends, I was born June 8th, 1978.
Mm-hmm.
Sounds like an ancient time to Pooja. But I was born 1:17 in the morning on June 8th, 1978. So I grew up in the 80s, technically. Kevin is shocked at some of my favorite shows because they are not shows that were made in the 80s. They were, 70s shows, let's say, or whatever.
Oh.
So like I grew up watching lots of different shows. I'm going to get into them all. Of course, some of my favorites were the Cosbys.
Mm-hmm.
There was a show called 222. And there was like Welcome Back Kotter or KRP in Cincinnati. There were all these shows and I loved all of them. If you've heard of any of these, please message me in the comments so I know I'm not alone. But I grew up watching Lassie and Flipper and Bewitched and I Dream a Genie. And so when I was on the plane and as I'm doing this Joe Dispenza meditation stuff and trying to create new patterns, new behaviors to get new outcomes and all of that, I said, okay, well, normally if I'm on a plane, I'm either going to watch something funny like a South Park or I'll find some movie or whatever. Impractical Jokers. Yeah, I like laughing. And so there was something on the thing I was going through on the menu and I see Bewitched. I said, you know what? It would be really cool to transport back to what I felt like then when I was still dreaming, because I've realized that at some point I stopped dreaming, and we've talked about this on the show. I stopped dreaming because I thought it was gluttonous to want more or whatever. And I'm trying to kind of go back to dreaming and in different ways. And so I said, let me transport myself back to little Maria, who used to watch Bewitched. So I start watching Bewitched. Now, Elizabeth Montgomery, if you don't know, gorgeous. She's everything. And I'm watching episode after episode, loving it, transported back in time. And I said, there was an episode where this guy was like, well, I'm a frog and I know you're a witch. Turn me back into a frog. I don't like this human thing. I thought I wanted it. And she's, being completely annoyed by this guy showing up everywhere. And I realized, oh my gosh, the people I grew up watching, let's just take Bewitched and I Dream a Genie, for example. Anytime they encountered a problem, they were able to make it disappear. Elizabeth Montgomery on Bewitched would go, and wiggle her nose. Poof, they'd turn into a frog. They would be disappeared. They'd be transported to another state. She could just get rid of her problems anytime she had them. I Dream a Genie, she would do the head nod. Poof, everybody would disappear. And I'm like, no wonder I have no coping skills. Because I believed I could just make people disappear. Now, not officially, but these were my role models growing up. Okay, well, let's dive deeper. So Dukes of Hazzard, the car, always saved him. You don't know. Not Dukes of Hazzard, Knight Rider.
Oh.
So David Hasselhoff had this like Camaro kind of car, which I had too. And it was named Kit. And he would talk to Kit through the watch. Kit, I need help. And Kit would come around and like save the day all the time. And okay. And so on and so forth. And so I started realizing that either, Lassie, anytime something happened, Lassie would be the one to tell Timmy and pull his little pants or save Timmy from danger. Flipper, all of these shows were rescuing people or getting rid of them. And so I started to realize what an impact these shows had on my life and the raising of me, right? Mm-hmm. So also, like you were taught, like the damsel in distress was really sexy.
Yep.
Right? So it's
the
like,
victim.
The victim. But don't worry, Lassie's going to come rescue me. Or by the way, I still
Prince
like Max is
Charming,
going to save me.
Yeah.
Right? I remember Peter Crone, who's been on the show before. He was like, you are relying on this animal to save you when you're the one that can save you. And I was like, yeah, but no, he really will. And so like he'll eat anybody who wants to hurt me. But it's true. And then, just that whole notion of just, no, make them disappear. I think that also in my head, if I had a problem at work, I'd go to my boss and hope that they would make the problem disappear.
Interesting.
But they didn't.
You're like, oh.
It didn't work like that.
But maybe that's because you've talked in the past about, because I'm the same way, like you would run from stuff, right? You would just be like, I just can't. So you would just like, so maybe that was you trying to cope with it, thinking, wait, I can't just make it disappear. So I'm going to try and make it disappear by running away from it. Then if I run away from it, it will disappear. You know what I'm saying? It's like you came up with different ways that you could cope because you couldn't just wiggle your nose.
Well, I just was stuck. I don't think I even ran away. I don't know. I'm trying to remember what I was talking about when I was connecting with you on running away. I think we all run away in different situations. I would flee different jobs. I'm like, oh, this place is crazy. Let me dig my escape and get out of here. There's an element of running, and then the same problems would play out, right? Because
over and over again,
when you start to see your childhood traumas just are running the ride, and part of it is like, there were no boundaries. So people just did whatever they wanted. And then it would take me to explode to be able to express myself. And then you look like the bad guy. And it's like, no, but I've been stung and stung and stung and stung and stung. And now I have this massive allergic reaction.
Right.
You know what I mean? I was trying to cope with the stinging, and I was like, oh, I'll just put some Benadryl on it, you know? Mm-hmm. But, so when you look back, you start to see where things went wrong. But I was like, my God, all of the shows that I loved had such an impact on me. Of course, I just wanted to be a part of the Cosby family. Did you guys ever watch the Cosbys?
A little bit.
Oh
yeah.
my God. They were like,
We had more
everything to
Full
me.
House.
Yeah, we had Full House.
Oh my God. I loved Full House too.
Yeah.
I watched Full House and I wanted to be in their family too.
So did I.
But do you guys look back at some of the shows that you grew up with and start to see any kind of patterns as well?
Oh yeah. Pooja and I just had a heyday going over this because I think it's interesting and something I was going to say before we get to us. I wonder if you would talk to Alyssa or like someone else who's a friend of yours who grew up with the same shows, if they had the same issues, you know, or if they like thought the same things or felt the same way, because I think it's interesting how TV goes with time.
Mm-hmm.
So different generations grew up with different sort of problems that were reflected in television.
Yeah.
So like Pooja and I have a lot of the same stuff, even though we're 6 years apart. We have a lot of the same. We grew up with that same time frame, those same TV shows. It's kind of fascinating. So I guess for us, when we were talking about it, it was a lot of the perfect, it was the Disney Channel perfect good girl, was the one who was like always, she was small. She was never like outspoken, just like a good girl.
Yeah.
Like always did the right thing. What were some of the other ones we talked about?
Yeah, and I also think it's like the ones who were outspoken or like maybe like rebelled a little or like spoke out against authority. Like God forbid you had your own opinion on something. And then that was like
They were the villains.
the villain or like the girl that
Yeah.
was like, oh, she's the bad girl. Like she's the mean girl. You want to be like that girl. But yeah, we had a lot. And another thing that we kind of thought about was like the mean girls were always like the sexual girls, like the ones that were like having sex. And it was like, oh, they were the bad ones. They're the mean ones.
like
On TV?
Yeah. Or we were thinking like Rizzo in Grease, or like even like Lizzie McGuire, which was very much for kids, but like Kate, who was the bad girl, who was the mean girl, was the one who was wearing like the more like revealing clothing, and they like sexualized her. And she was like the bad girl.
Right. So it's just like that whole idea, like the more pure you are, like the better you are, like the
And the
less
better you're
bad you are.
perceived, yeah.
Right.
Exactly.
Right.
So that was also like just an interesting thing that we were like, we
Yeah.
never even thought about how that could have influenced like an entire generation. And it did. Maybe it did
entire
Yeah.
generation.
I don't know. It was interesting.
The other thing too that we were like, what? It was always, and I'm not sure if you guys had this, it was like, say Princess Diaries, for example. She was not good enough until she got the makeover.
Yep.
She was right.
Yep.
Wow.
She was the dorky one with the glasses and the frizzy hair, and she was an outcast, and she was smart but didn't get. Oh my! Like literally, the guy would like shut his locker in her face, didn't see her, and then when she was pretty and got the makeover, he saw her and she got the attention.
And that was in so many movies,
So
though. Like,
many.
She's All That. Do you remember that movie?
Yep.
It's the same thing. Like, it was like he was going out with her as a joke, I think. And then, like, she took off her glasses
Yes.
and, like,
Yeah.
put on some lipstick and, like, a tight little dress. And then everyone was like, oh, my God, she's
Who is
gorgeous.
this?
Or, like, a Cinderella story, like the same thing. Like,
Yep.
and it was the same storyline in like all these movies, like literally every single one. It was like the nerdy girl that like the guy only paid attention to when she like got pretty, which in like society, pretty is like what you wear makeup, like your hair, whatever.
Take your glasses
Take your
off.
glasses off, like
Don't
what-
be able to see.
right,
Suffer.
right, like or
Literally.
wear like what, like little skirts, whatever it was. Like don't wear pants. That like everyone, all those
Yeah.
nerdy girls wore pants,
Yeah.
and now they wore a skirt and took off their glasses and they're pretty. That was like the storyline of like everything. Like I remember growing up, and it was like, oh wow, you have to be like quote unquote pretty, or like that's. It was also perpetuating like that's what pretty is, when like
That is, yeah.
that is shouldn't be the only version of beautiful. Like everyone's beautiful, but also it was like you have to conform to that in order to get attention
To
and
get
like
the
to be
guy,
seen
to
and
get
to
the-
like
yes,
right
yeah.
and like to be worth listening to, which is like so wild, and like it obviously translated and correlated to like how could it not? Like that's all we were absorbing as kids. I don't
Wow.
know.
Crazy.
Interesting, right?
Right? I had the aha moment and it like knocked me off my feet. I'm like, oh my God. And here's the thing, like, I think that there's so much good programming. Like I remember the Cosbys was so influential, and you got to see a family coming together and working through their problems and, whatever, or Full House, seeing a different kind of family coming together. And so I know that they try, right? They try to introduce different topics. Like I remember watching 90210 as a teenager, and they would introduce things like teen pregnancy or AIDS or whatever it is that was top of mind culturally, so that we could all learn, how to treat each other and, different things. And so, Lucille Ball was breaking barriers down by being with a Cuban American and, marrying him and having a baby. And you don't show pregnancy on TV back then. I mean, there were so many, so they're always breaking barriers, but it's funny, to see how these things affect us as we're older. So now if you look back at these shows, how do you think it's affected you guys in your lives? And what do you think you're going to do from now?
Ooh. I think for me, one of the other things too, that just kind of ties into all of this is that, like, I looked at, we were talking about how it was always the pretty, like, skinny, smaller one who got the attention. Like, they considered Hillary Duff fat growing up.
Yep.
Yes.
Yep.
Wait. She on the show?
And when she went to carpets and stuff, it was more like, oh, Hillary's the curvy one. Hillary's the curvy girl. And I'm like, be what?
Yeah.
What are you talking about? But we internalized that. So for me, I know I have a lot of problems about that. And then I know too, where it's like, I think, unless I'm like pretty enough or this enough, then I'm not going to get like seen. And I think I don't consciously think that, but I think that.
Same, for sure. Or like, I remember like I had a friend and whatever, like we were like literally in like maybe second grade or first grade. And like we grew up with the Hillary Duff. Like you like remember her more, but we still had her. And I don't know if this is exactly what like caused her to think this, but she was like, I'm fat. And I was like, you're literally like, like not even, like you're like in elementary school. And she was like, yeah, like I'm fat. Like I don't look like that girl on like TV or whatever. I was like, and I don't remember what I said, what I did. I just remember her saying that. And I was like, wow, like that's so sad. Like thinking back on that, and I can't imagine that seeing someone like Hillary Duff, who is not fat, like she's like a very like healthy looking girl. She's a normal girl and being like, that's fat. Like I can't imagine that stuff like that didn't affect my friend or any other, like any little girls, like me, like everyone, like, and I remember I was so obsessed with being like little skinny. And like if I wasn't, or I gained a little weight, like in middle school, I was like, oh my God, freak out. Or even in high school, I'd freak out. And it's like, chill, like, but it's just sad that that's what we had to deal with. That's because of the programming that we had growing up. But I can't blame it on programming. It's obviously society too, but yeah,
it's crazy.
That's so interesting, because I feel like by your generations, Beyonce had popped out and people were celebrating curves. So like I remember when I was in high school, so when we graduated and our first weekend back at like in town, and we were all going to go out and hang out with our old high school friends, somebody admitted to me that they thought I used to stuff my ass. And I was like, wait, what? So, like they were too scared to say anything in high school. So now they're telling me now that we're in college. And I said, why do you think I would stuff my ass? It was already so big. I was already so mortified by it because it wasn't popular. And they're like, oh, we just thought you did. And I'm like, oh. And then soon after that, things started changing. Because I remember when I made it in the business, at some point it was like Beyonce. And then of course later Kim and all these people, asses were all the thing. And now my ass was small.
Yeah.
Compared to everybody. But a body was being more celebrated. The only person I could hold on to, I remember, was like a Cindy Crawford growing up, where she had more of like a stronger kind of looking body rather than the waify models like Kate Moss, who were coming on the scene, and waif look was like really in.
Yeah.
And so we've come such a long way. So I would think that your generation was way light years ahead of me in terms of body image and what is celebrated.
Mm-hmm. I think, and I don't know about Pooch, because I think being a little bit older, for us, we were more of the simple life, the Paris Hiltons and the Nicole Richies, those like bone, like rail thin. Like I remember Lindsay Lohan was also, they said she was fat and then she lost a ton of weight when she started hanging out with them. Kate Moss, the nothing tastes as good as skinny feels. Like that's like what I remember in high school. And then when I was more, I would say end of high school, college, because Beyonce was still celebrated, but I feel like she wasn't as much on the forefront. Maybe she was, but not at least in like my circle or my friends as what they talked about. I still remember college. It was like, okay, are we going to do like 2-a-days so that we are like this big?
What's
like
2-a-day?
2-a-days, like going to the gym twice a day. And I was just like, what? So I feel like to me, at least in from what I remember, the like body positivity has been more recent for me in the last 5 to 10 years.
What about J-Lo? Like J-Lo was popping too.
But like they were J-Lo and they were Beyonce and that was them. Like, you know what I mean? Like they were perfect and they were hot and they were like unattainably gorgeous. If that makes sense. Like it wasn't like everyone was walking around looking like the skinny little baby waist and the big butt. Like that's not like a normal body type. If that makes sense. So yeah, like curvier girls are getting more recognition, but it's still very much like a skinny centric society, I would say. It's
still like, I remember growing up when they added like the double zeros and like American Eagle and Hollister, and that was like the most popular. That's like prepubescent teen, like you don't wear a double
but you know
zero.
what's crazy is I remember when I was really little, like, cause I mean, I was just like not fully developed yet. I was like in ninth
11.
grade. Yeah, I was like younger. And when I like went from a 00 to a 0, I like lost my mind. But that's crazy. Like that shouldn't have been a thing. You know what I mean?
I was the same way though.
But that's because like you go online or you go on TV and you see all these people and they're literally stick thin. So like, yeah, curvier girls. And now like I embrace it and like everyone, you know, it's a lot better, but it's still not where it needs to be.
I agree.
You know?
Agreed.
Wow.
Crazy, right?
Yeah, I would think that all of these people that came on the scene, because I instantly was like, hallelujah!
Yeah.
Hallelujah!
Yeah.
Thank you, Beyonce. Thank you, J-Lo. Thank you, Kim K. I am now normal.
Yeah, and I mean, it's definitely better. Like
it is better.
Like when Kim K came on, it's like, oh, you can be short and you can be gorgeous. Like that was a huge thing. Like I hated being short my whole life, and a lot of people did because you just saw these tall models.
Because I always wanted to be short.
Yeah,
yeah.
Grass is always greener.
We were tall.
Yeah, so it's definitely like there's still
we always
like
stuck
movement.
out in the school picture.
Yep.
And all the boys were always short. And you're like, oh, well, this sucks.
is a bummer. Exactly. Exactly.
Yeah,
Grass is always greener.
Exactly. Oh, man. Well,
so much.
TV definitely grooms us. I feel like we're in a whole different time now where, you know, you've got anything from Girls to Insecure to all these different kinds of shows and depictions, the Mindy Kaling show, whatever it is, of showing all, you know, more diversity in terms of looks and bodies and
sexuality, everything.
Yeah. I feel like generally anybody on TV is going to be attractive. Even if in the outside world, you wouldn't look at them twice. When you see them on camera, there's just something that happens.
It's magnetic.
Yeah, because you're getting into their character, and which is what we should be doing in real life, is actually looking at the person and getting into their character.
You're so right.
Rather than just judging them on their appearance. On TV, you get to see them and kind of connect with them in a different way. And you're like, oh, I'm kind of finding that person to be hot. Yeah. And I never normally would.
Yeah. No, you're so right. I feel like there's so many instances where I'm like, oh my, like I was just telling my sister how currently in love I am with Sebastian Stan after watching Pam and Tommy. And she was like, really? And I was like, yeah, in real life, I probably would not see him on the street and be like, oh my God. But because I think he's such a good actor, I'm like, oh my God, I love him. But you're so right. I think I've never thought about that. Yeah. It's interesting.
Yeah. There's like one actor, I won't obviously say who, but for what I'm about to say, his character, like in this popular like movie series, everyone's like, he's hot, like the character, but because he's such a good like person, but then like the actor by himself like isn't like, and not because like not, I mean part I guess with his looks, but also he's just like, seems a little arrogant in real life. So that's part of it. But like people are like, oh, that character is so hot. And then we're like, after, watching interviews and like, I mean, if someone's a little cocky, it like turns you off. They're like, oh, he's not. So it's interesting. You're right, Maria. Like if people actually got to know your character as a person, like in real life, like maybe you'd find someone more attractive or less attractive.
That's why Love is Blind is cool.
Yeah.
It really is though. Truly.
Yeah.
Have you been watching the new season?
I have not.
Me neither.
But I have reluctantly been watching Pam and Tommy. And the reason I say reluctantly is because I had a really hard time with people profiting off of her re-traumatization by telling the story again. And I'm really happy to see that she's actually getting a little bit of a glow from it, which she's going to be premiering on Broadway as Roxy Hart, which is a lifelong dream for her. And Netflix is going to do her true documentary where she's going to actually be able to speak out herself. I'm really, really happy to hear all of that because I remember watching the first episode, second episode, at some point when it clicked how traumatizing this was for her, because we don't know. We only know that the sex tape went out and then all these sex tapes came after and you're like, oh my God, people are doing sex tapes to become famous. So that's the idea that everybody has, because it's hard for general public to believe that something wasn't, done for fame. And so I was like, Kevin, I can't watch this. This is like heartbreaking to me. But I'm really glad to see that it's going in that direction since you mentioned them.
I am so excited for that. And I fully agree because I think that watching it, I honestly only got to like episode 3 or 4 because I was like, I can't keep watching this. Because I honestly really was actually starting to like Tommy because of Sebastian Stan. He does such a good job for me.
He's great.
He's so good.
Yeah.
And I was like, no, I don't want to be liking Tommy. I was like, and not whatever. He's fine now. But yeah, I couldn't keep watching it because I kind of felt the same way. I was like, dang, even the couple of parts where they compared her to other women of that time and they like
I hated that. I told you that. It really pissed me off so much. Why do we have to be nasty about Carmen Electra or Jenny McCarthy? Why are we in today's day?
Yeah, that's
the fact that they actually had the courage balls to do that, I thought was really, really unkind and inappropriate.
But it was kind of when you turned me on to that I like started picking up on other things that I was like, ooh, I don't know if I want to keep watching this, but I'm very excited for her doc.
Yeah, me too. So fun fact, I've interviewed both Pam and Tommy.
Very cool.
Wow.
Together or separate?
Separately. I don't remember the Tommy interview as much. Keven was reminding me that we were talking about being Greek and stuff like that. But with Pam, I remember it more, and I have a hard time remembering things. But I do remember that because my cousin Peter was obsessed with her. And before I was on TV and like known, when I was working at Channel 1, I saw her in the airport once. And like when I say he was obsessed with her, he's obsessed with her. So I walked up to her back then and I asked her for an autograph from my cousin, and he died. And she was so sweet. She gave it.
Sure.
And then I interviewed her years later. This was after all this stuff happened, and we were in her trailer, and she had a stripper pole in the trailer. And the segment, she was teaching me how to, do the stripper pole, but it was like on a bed. So me and Pam on her bed on the stripper pole.
Is there footage of this?
Yeah, it's on Access Hollywood.
Okay, we have to get that.
We need somebody in the tape room to pull up the tape. But because that was before social media, so it's not like it like lives anywhere.
I'm gonna do some digging.
Although Access Hollywood, I'm sure, has gone into the archives of Pam and Tommy to bring up old interviews that they've had with her because she doesn't do very many interviews anymore.
No,
which I would love to have her on.
Me too.
And so I'm sure maybe we can search, but
that's wild. That's pretty cool.
I remember she liked her champagne.
Really?
Yeah.
I bet she was so sweet. Was she nice?
Yeah.
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 Damn.
And I remember my cousin Peter being so beside himself jealous that I'm on a stripper pole bed with Pam Anderson.
That's pretty cool.
I've done some pretty cool things, friends.
You have.
Seriously, yeah.
I mean, sometimes stuff will come up and I'm like, what?
Yeah. I was like, I know there's a story that I was going to share as we were talking about this, because I was like, oh, I try to remember to infuse some of these things into our discussions because
We love it.
It's fun, but it's hard for me to even remember sometimes.
I wonder, does she still live here?
She's in Canada, I'm pretty sure.
I was
Yeah.
with her or with her boys, maybe.
Yeah.
I know she's kind of off the grid.
I don't know if there was anyone more gorgeous than Pam Anderson.
No.
I think it was like her and Carmen Electra were just like, Carmen was the brunette
Yeah.
and she was the blonde, but like she was before injections and all of that stuff. Like, I know she got her boobs done, but I mean like her face.
So natural.
Oh my God. She was so stunning.
I was rewatching The Last Dance and forgot that Dennis Rodman and Carmen Electra dated. And she came on and I was like, you just forget how just stunning, like just show-stoppingly stunning these women are.
And so sweet, because I remember meeting her on one of my first red carpets.
Wow.
And I told her that I was with Keven. I'm going to give you guys the story. Pooja probably doesn't know this.
I don't.
And she was like, oh my God, tell him I said hi. And she was so sweet to me and so nice and was very complimentary. So Keven used to date Carmen Electra.
Look at
Pooja's head. Did you get that on camera?
Yeah, I did.
He dated Carmen Electra?
Yeah.
Yes. So stand by. Keven was head writer at MTV Singled Out.
Yeah.
He was there with Jenny McCarthy. And then they, whatever, Jenny went on to do something and they brought in Carmen Electra and they dated. And when I met Keven, I'll never forget, I was at his home in Winchester, Massachusetts. I went upstairs to his room and he hit play on the answering machine.
Oh, God.
And here I am, little 19-year-old Maria in Medford or in Winchester, the city next to mine. And it's like, and it's Dennis Rodman
Shut up.
pranking him.
Shut up.
Because he's now dating Carmen.
Get out.
And I was like, oh my God. Now, I mean, what connection to Hollywood would I ever have? That was like, oh my God.
Oh, my God.
That's wild.
Yeah. Kevin's got some stories. It's
Damn.
funny.
Oh, Kevin's stories though like range from like that to like the most crazy freaking drug dealer
Like carny like stories.
Yeah.
It
like
makes
when
it
you
the best.
when you see the movie that Bradley Cooper just was in, that's nominated with Kate Blanchett and Toni Collette. It's some
Let's
horror
Google
movie.
this.
You guys don't know any Oscar movies? Nothing?
No. Unfortunately,
Queens.
I'm not good in that
Okay.
realm.
Poosh,
Ask me an album.
have you found
Ask me
anything?
a TV show. Let's see. Not Get Out. Oscar horror movie. Type in Matthew McConaughey.
All right.
No.
I'm
Matthew
sorry,
McConaughey.
I'm sorry,
Bradley Cooper. If you just type in Bradley Cooper and you go to news, you're going to find it. Bradley Cooper. I'm going to find it in 1 second. I'm
Yeah,
going
we're
to
not
put you all
finding
to
it.
shame right now.
Nightmare Alley?
Yes.
Hey,
Thank you.
I've never even heard
it's the
of
first
that.
thing you see when you Google him. Okay.
I'm thinking Matthew.
So anyhow, we watched it last night, and because I have to do my Oscar homework, because I will be on the
Yes,
Oscar red
you
carpet
will.
for Live with Kelly.
I'm gonna be under her dress, just there hanging out as well.
Yeah.
I have hidden people under my dress before.
I mean, I know, I've seen it.
I hid my mom under one of my Oscar gowns as like a joke for a picture.
Cute.
But we were watching, and you get to see the carny world. So yes, Keven has lived in that crazy kind of carny world and has some good stories. But yeah, he did date Carmen Electra. He's not like somebody who shows off and obviously tells anybody, but because it's pertinent to the story, I'm also sharing it.
It's amazing.
But yeah, it was really funny. I was like, oh my God, this is so crazy cool.
That's wild.
Yeah.
That is crazy cool. even if you are like famous, I feel like that's still crazy cool.
Yeah. I mean,
Dennis
Kevin's
Rodman.
in the National Enquirer with Jenny because they thought that they were dating. There's like some archival stuff.
Whoa, yeah.
Kevin's
Holding out on us.
Holding out. He's very quiet about all these things. But but yeah, I think those two were just stunners.
Oh yeah. Insanely beautiful.
Yeah, and very sweet.
When you talked to Keven about these TV shows and your breakthrough, did he have any that he grew up on?
The crazy thing is, Kelsey, he had just had a breakthrough. He was doing a session with Dr. Laura Berman. And they were doing some regression thing or whatever. And he's like, I keep seeing the scene from this episode of a TV show I watched. And he's like, I don't know why it keeps coming up. And he hadn't seen it since he was like a kid or whatever. So he went back and he watched it and he realized how impactful that was in his life. So basically, friends, Heal Squad, new friends, go back and start itemizing what you loved, what you watched, and think about what that storyline was really about and what that kind of may have left as an imprint on you. There's no good or bad. It just is. There's nothing we can do about it other than be aware of it and just say, oh, okay. Right? Like
that was that. Yep.
You know, there's so many movies where you see, romantic relationships displayed in a certain way that make us feel like our relationship is less than because it's not like that. But that's a movie. Right. And that's meant to have this crazy bachelor. By the way, it's like The Bachelor. When you watch The Bachelor, like, I'm sorry, nobody is on helicopters and, you know, let's go to Aruba.
Bungee jumping.
Like, I mean, unless you're with the Tinder swindler, and that's a whole other problem. So yeah, you have to know that those aren't what romance is really about. And if you keep looking for that, you're going to have a real hard time finding that specifically. Well, you can have moments, yes.
Shout out to Mark Groves' episode where he talked a lot about, you know, the whole knight in shining armor, like Disney picture that was painted for us. It's like, oh, I'm going to be this little girl over here and my knight's going to come save me. Yeah. It's like, no. No. So yeah, I agree, Maria. It was funny because it took us a minute to get there, Pooja and I, and then once we started digging, it was like floodgates open, and we were like, dang. So it was fun. It was a fun little project you gave us, though.
I'm glad that you guys met the challenge. I'm still hoping that Lassie, aka Max, will save me when I need it. And,
he will.
And stuff. So I did promise, I think, at the top that we were going to get to some Heal Squad questions. So let me see if I can answer one before we go. How do you boost self-confidence? Any confidence tips? Listen to the episode with Amy Cuddy. Amy Cuddy, I believe it was Harvard research that said if you put your hands on your hips and you assume the Wonder Woman pose for 2 minutes, it actually changes.
It chemically changes your brain. Yep.
To give you the self-confidence you need. So if you're ever like about to do a proposal, a meeting, something important, assume Wonder Woman stance. You feel powerful and it actually instantly boosts your confidence. So I do that when I need it. I high five myself. Mel Robbins' episode is a really great episode to listen to. The high five habit is really great at boosting self-confidence and helping you in that department. I don't know if any of you are still high fiving. I am.
No,
it's amazing. High five myself every day. And I'm like, you got this.
Do you feel
girl.
A shift?
I've been better than I have been in like life.
That's amazing.
In a long time.
I love that.
So I would definitely refer you to those 2 episodes. If Kelsey and Pooja are so kind, maybe they'll
link it in bio. We got you.
In the meantime, friends, like we said, MariaMenounos.com is built. It's up. It's there as a resource for you. So we've been talking a lot about it lately because the cliff notes to each one of these episodes is there. And the team works really, really hard to put those up there for you so that if you're listening to this when you're hiking or you're at a doctor appointment, whatever it is, and you can't write all the notes down, the aha moments, those cliff note moments are on that website. So go to it. It is your resource. Of course, at the same time, we are revamping our shop page. So stay tuned. It will be much more user-friendly because everything that I use and love and I'm obsessed with is on that website, partly because I don't have the time to take people on private Sephora tours. I did take Marie Forleo on a private Sephora tour in New York, and I turned her on to the Ilia.
God, it's the
tinted
best
foundation
in the world.
and the Kosas concealer and the Isle of Paradise drop. And she was like obsessed. She's texting me like, my skin has never looked better. I can't even believe it.
That like makes me so excited.
So friends, all of that is on the website as well. It's all absolutely 1,000,000,000% my advice. And so no one's paying me to put things on there. I am actually putting on, by the way, I never do unless I really believe in it. So even if someone's paying me someday, I'm only going to be doing it because I do believe in the product. So that is there for you guys. If you haven't joined us on Patreon, we go deep every month with our Heal events where you have access to some of the best people in, life coaching, healing, wellness, every area. Doing our one-on-one Zooms are really fun. We've built a really great group and a great community in there. $10 a month gets you that, ad-free shows, and an extra show a week. And you can find that on the website, but you can also find it on the link tree at Better Together with Maria on Instagram. In the meantime, be nice people, make good choices, and be present.